Good evening and welcome back to another down and dirty how-to with bugs. Tonight, I'm going to show you guys a quick no bullshit way how to get the Fw-190 started. I'm pretty sure this will apply to the D9 also. I am flying the A8 tonight, or starting the A8 for you guys. So as far as I remember, like I said in previous videos, there's really no major difference in the cockpit minus a few other things that pertain to the liquid-cooled engine gauge-wise, but that's really the only difference. The taxi, takeoff, startup procedures are all going to be the same, if not similar, or similar, if not the same, I should say. But we're going to work on the A8 tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to unpause, get into the cockpit, and then we'll look at the controls that we're going to need or want to have mapped. That'll make things a little bit easier, but you guys do what you have with the setup that you have, but we'll make the best of it. So without any further ado, let's jump in and we'll take a look at our controls. So as you see, we are in a cold, dark FW-190. She does look good. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know this was arguably the best interceptor of the Second World War at the time when she was in service. And I can believe it. She is a good airplane. So let's take a look at our controls really quick. So what we're going to want, excuse me, sorry about that, guys, our basic axis commands, our pitch, roll, and our rudder. And then our wheel brakes for our taxi, and then our throttle. Where is she? There she is. So we got her right there. That's going to do it for our axis commands. And then if we come into our other category here, we're going to want throttle to start. So that's going to uncage our throttle and introduce fuel, kind of like when you're starting one of the jets. The same thing, you crank the starter and then you introduce fuel. Similar concept, so we'll go with that. And then we're going to want the throttle to stop if we're going to shut down. Don't need to worry about that or that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, radiator flaps, that would help. If you have it mapped, you don't have to, but if you have the room for it, definitely recommended doing it. We have our trim, our starter power, and our starter clutch. So I'll show you guys that when we get down there for the startup. Depending, the left mouse button does one thing to energize it, and then your right mouse button will engage it. So similar concept to the P47 as far as the starter is concerned. And other than that, we should be pretty good as far as the controls to have mapped. Everything else we could do from the cockpit, because you really only have to play with that kind of stuff once, and then just to get it running, and after that, you set it up as needed. So we're not going to worry about our master arm stuff for the most part tonight. We don't need it. We're going to worry about this panel here, our number 1 circuit breaker panel, our number 2 circuit breaker panel in the middle, and our number 3 circuit breaker panel over here, our starter switch here, the oxygen valve here, and then a few controls over here, which I'll walk you guys through as we get to that point. So the first thing I like to do normally is just wipe your controls, make sure everything's free and clear. You see with the old Warbird, everything's all cable driven and it moves the way it's supposed to. So the caveat to this, I'm not too fluent in German. I know a little bit, but we'll work with it the best I can. These are laid out pretty nicely and color coded, so anything blue is going to be your oxygen system. Anything yellow, I believe, is your electrical system, and anything in red is something with your flight control system or temperatures, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure you guys will correct me in the comments below. I really am curious on the correct color coding of the German aircraft, the Fw-190 and the Bf-109, because they're laid out kind of similar with the color coding stuff, so it is helpful in the long run. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. All right, so for our pre-flight or our pre-startup, let's do the left to right sweep. Here's our primer back here. What's this thing do? That's a light, it looks like. Okay. That's our radio controls here and here. And our throttle's locked back. Our flaps are down. Mags are off. The trim is in neutral. The fuel's off. Cooling flaps are closed. Master ROM's off. That's all off. O2 is off. Breakers are all off. Okay. So what we're going to do is we'll start from the left side here. Let's uncage our throttle. So now we have our full throw over it. Another thing I should have mentioned to you guys is to have your mag switch mapped, because it's a little awkward if you have to do the starter with the mouse and the mag switch with the mouse at the same time. It can get a little finicky, so if you guys have the real estate on either your throttle or some part of your HOTAS, highly recommended to map both of them, because I have both mapped on two different controllers right now, but you can do it with your throttle and the mouse if needed. So the mags are off. Governor is, let's see here, automatic. Yeah, okay. All right, so the very little German that I do know and can translate on the fly, this is automatic and this is manual. Okay, here's our fuel valve. That's off, so let's turn that on. That's going to all stay off. We'll worry about our radiator flaps when we get started. We'll worry about our O2 when we get started. So let's open that panel and that panel. So there are two ways to start the Fw-190, either with or without external power. We're going to do without external power tonight, just so you guys can see that without me explaining it to you guys, we could just breeze right through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you guys through it now, and then after we get it going, after the explanation part of the lesson part of the video, I should say, is I'm going to reset, get back into a brand new airplane, cold and dark, and I'm going to fire it up and show you guys how quick you can actually get this thing turned over and starting to warm up. So let's go from there. So we're going to come to our battery. We're going to turn that on. We're going to turn our generator on. We'll keep all that off for now. Excuse me, sorry about that, guys. Stupid remnant cough from the flu is really annoying. Let's turn our fore and aft fuel pumps on. We don't have drop tanks or aux tanks on, so we're going to keep that off. These are our radio and flaps and all that other kind of stuff for now. Let's turn the prop pitch controls on. Just so the Colt. Actually, you know what? We're going to turn all this stuff on. IFF. Alright, we'll turn the radios on after we're done, but everything's all going. You guys can hear everything running in the background. Let's give 10 pumps on our primer. 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So now we're going to need our starter uncovered. So the left and the right mouse button, your clutch and your starter power. So we're going to go left for power and then right for the clutch to engage. And as the fan starts turning, we're going to pop our mags on and hopefully she catches and she's running. So let's energize. You guys should be able to hear it coming up. Or did I miss something here? I think I did. I might have missed some ignition. There we go. Whoops. Yeah, that was good, Bugs. Okay, so we got to make sure we hit that ignition circuit breaker on, otherwise we're not going to get very far. There she goes. Now you can hear the starter winding up. Just hold that for about 10 seconds. You can hear the pitch stabilize out on it. And mesh the starter. Mags introduced. 1 + 2, and we're running. Just hold the wheel brakes down. Bring your throttle up a little bit, about 1 inch, like any other Warbird. We're going to open up our cooling flaps for the warm-up. Let's get our oxygen going. Turn on the rest of your circuit breakers now that you have everything going. Safe the starter cover, close that. Turn the rest of the breakers back here on that we need. Let's close that. Let's turn on our weapon circuit breakers so we don't have to worry about that later, and we just have to worry about it from up here. So there's our arm switches for the guns, so we're not going to worry about that right now. Okay, perfect. So now all you guys got to do is just do your normal warm-up procedure. You want to bring it up to, hold the brakes and bring it up to about 12,000 RPM. You don't want it to shake too much because the FW does have a little quirk to it that it can actually rattle parts of the engine apart on you. So you got to be mindful of that. So just keep your brakes on 12,000 RPM. Let it do its thing. Start to warm up a little bit. Set your flaps for takeoff. That's going to be the yellow button, stop, in the center. Ein is flaps up and aus is flaps down. So you guys can see on the outside of the wings. We're at 10 degrees on both sides, so our flaps are set for takeoff. And then we go from there. So now, just taxi her out, let her warm up a little bit, and then your normal taxi out procedure and takeoff procedure from there. So I really hope you guys found that helpful. If you have any questions, or if I did something incorrectly or something different that you want to see, leave a comment down below and let me know. I'll be glad to fix, help, or what have you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe for more, and until the next sortie, strap in, arm up the seat, and keep flying. I'm going to jump into a cold and dark Fw-190 just to show you guys how quick you can get this thing started up and rolling out. So hang on an extra couple of minutes and I'll show you. Clear. Takeoff, guys, just like that. Nice and easy. You can have her up and scrambled pretty quick once you get it down to fluid. Just like I said. Just take your time, have a little bit of patience with her, and she'll treat you just fine. And like I said previously, I really hope you guys found that helpful. I really hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more. Let's build this channel into a community. And I want to do a lot of flying with you guys at some point in the future. So let's make that happen. Let's roll this thing out of here. little too quick, but that's all right. Here we go. Don't forget to close your canopy, but we're going to go free flying today. Neutralize the stick. Easy off on the rudder. Gear up. Neutralize rudder. Flaps up. And we're flying.